Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another 1 vs 1 cast, continuing the Intel Extreme Masters Invitational in New York City. This is Iselian, and I'm happy to be bringing you, as you can see at the top here, Gatored versus EG's StrifeCro. Now, Gatored, I've done a couple of series on him, and if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want spoilers, I highly recommend watching those first, because just head to my user page if you're not already there, scroll down a little bit on the side, you'll see he played Straylock, and he played Dongregu. He's an exceptional Protoss. Really came out of nowhere. He's not mentioned too much on Wikipedia, if at all. I don't believe I even could find an entry for him. He's a very, very good Protoss player, though. He does some very innovative and interesting things. I won't say what he wins and what he loses and so on and so forth. You've had your chance, though, so now I will. Showing phenomenal Warp Prism and Stargate play versus Dongregu, really dismantling a Zerg that most people really highly rate. We have, spawning on the right side though, another Zerg that still seeks to challenge him, EG StrifeCro. Now, EG StrifeCro is with the Evil Geniuses team, so I'll probably call him StrifeCro or StrifeCro, but I'll leave the EG out. The EG team having such notables as In Control, Hydra, and exceptionally good Zerg. Huck is a great Protoss who just won the MLG Orlando, spoiler alert, and he's a great Protoss. I've always been a fan of Huck ever since he became famous, and I could go be a fanboy without. Oh, yeah, you get the idea. Ha ha ha. So, EG certainly is not a team that's going to be lacking for want of practice or players or partners. We see Gatored here at the beginning is doing a very interesting thing that I disagreed with initially when he played Dongregu on Dual Sight. He went for a Forge Fast Expand on what is normally a very large open space. So we see he really loves the Forge Fast Expand, especially versus Zerg, which I can't say I quite blame him in that you want to keep base, as Protoss, you want to keep base with Zerg. As, trying to steal the hatchery spot of the natural. Oh, Strife, you cheesy little bugger. You want to stay on base with Zerg, if possible, as Protoss. The reason being that Zerg want to stay a base up from you. You can see he might... Nope, I was going to say he might try to slip a little proxy over there. Is not going to be the case this time around. And he actually could drop cannons here, although by this time, with all the Zerglings here, he could have dropped cannons earlier. He could have, instead of dropping this first cannon here, he could have dropped it back of the pylon here. That would have been all sorts of fun and interesting. But, just going for a fairly standard Forge Fast Expand. I was talking about EG StrifeCro, who is taking a sneaky high yield. Well, this game is just kicking off like the first game versus Straylock. StrifeCro, I've seen Gatored. We've been watching him do some great play. However, I'm not going to discount StrifeCro, and I'm not going to say that Gatored is unstoppable and amazing and the second coming of Huck and all his awesome Protossness and so on and so forth. StrifeCro is really looking to get the upper hand right away here. However, I'm not sure if Gatored may have spotted that there wasn't an expansion, and he could be scouting around saying, yes, he is. He spotted that the expansion hadn't gone down even after the pylon had been killed. And so he's going to stop by here at the high yield and go, okay, what's going on here? Is there something going on? He will spot that as it slips by, and he will know full well that his opponent is really trying to overcome that expansion setback. The drone pulling was merely a setback. Could kill that scouting probe. Nope. He's going to transfer right over. He really wants to mine out this high yield right away. Can you blame him? 6 minerals per return. I'm sorry, what is it? 8 minerals return instead of... We're going to tell in a moment here. He needs to get those mining. Come on, drones. Anyway, you can see on the income tab, it's going to, for our Zerg player, shoot through the roof. Look at that. Nearly 1,000 minerals per minute. Just over 1,000 now. 1,100. Only climbing more. Warp Gate is on the way, as well as a Sentry to follow up from the initial Zealot. And he's actually chrono boosting out the Sentry, so he really... I think Gatored is going to take more of a turtle play. Saying that he wants to chrono boost the Sentry says that he wants to get force fields that he can easily place here that would stop any Zergling run by. Very mineral heavy start could show early Roach or early Zergling pressure. And sure enough, we have the Roach Warren going down. Could be a pseudo all-in to start. We've seen Zergs lately do a number of Roach busts, try to focus down this cannon and then push through the sort of wall expansion here. Force fields would most certainly help against that, either pushing them away so that they go out of range of the cannon back to here because the force fields cover this area, or forcing them in, you know, creating a wall around this area so that the zealots can come up and just hack and slash away to their heart's content. We do have 3 gases. Oh, sniping out the Overlord there. That's going to hurt a little bit, although Strife really is just flowing in the money so well. And now Chrono boosting out a +1, a very early +1. And some Protoss have been doing this more lately. They've been, I love the Zealot right here on hold position so that any Zerglings try to come by won't pull them out and then slip through. You'd have maybe a Zergling or 2 run up and aggro the Zealot, and if he was not on hold position, he could follow them out. And then you'd have the rest of the Zerglings run by right through here. So we have, of course, full saturation, 1-2 queens out, along with a queen here and a queen here, because when you're flowing in the minerals of an early high yield, you can afford to do that, along with, say, a spine crawler. Let's get some Zerglings, get a macro hatch at the 9-minute mark. Apologies if you saw me tabbing out there a little bit, I just had to adjust a setting. So right now we have StrifeCro really is just macroing up to his heart content. You can see the entire production tab just surging through. He's even getting spore crawlers just in case, because he knows his opponent has spotted this high yield, but he hasn't done anything about it. So will Gatored try to do some cheesy Dark Templar play? Will he push out a Stargate? Nope, just going pretty standard. The Immortals here will be very powerful if they can get up top or situated right back here. We do have these 5, 6 sentries now warping in. Some with 100+ energy, some with near 100 energy. All ready to throw down a plethora of force fields. The armor level 1-4 Protoss is getting ready to finish. We'll probably have Twilight Council head down soon. Gatored really, he actually did that that 1-1 timing push against Dong Regu when Dong Regu had a third. Only Dong Regu didn't have a high yield. He needs to get some drones on this gas. I'm sure he's absolutely flooding in minerals. Probably make about 8 Overlords to be happy with it. And a very nice sizable army here for StrifeCro. He is getting ready to move out. He is feeling it. He has the army composition and the size that he feels is ready to bust down this wall. The army for Gatored, actually, who almost out of position with these Immortals, could even probably stand a knockout in this pylon just to slip through faster as another warp in happens. We have the little dance of the units before the engagement. Gatored is going to go his his +1 armor finish, so he is going for that 1-1 timing. We're going to see if it's going to be able to stand up against the extremely high income of the Zerg and the rallying forces that come with that. Well-placed force fields are going to be an absolute must here, as the Zerglings are no doubt going to want to get a huge surround. Great force fields, fantastic force fields, so much energy from all of these sentries. Zerglings trying to get through, but they're getting bottlenecked, but there may just be too much from the Zerg. The Protoss army pushed back against the wall, trying to defend with all their life. These Immortals doing tons of damage. 11, 5, 9 kills. Climbing, and Zealots warping in from the back, moving in. Stalkers shooting through, trying to do all the damage they can, but 32 Zerglings on the way, maybe even as many as 40, 50 Zerglings on the way, coming through, ready to overwhelm the Protoss player. Gatored only able to make so much at a time. And just now the lair tech is starting. We're not even on lair tech yet. And yet we have 42 Zerglings on the field with 12 more about to pop out. Gatored loving this position up against the wall. Can't say I blame him at all. And a good spot for pylon warp ends. However, will it be enough? StrifeCro now at 1,000 excess gas. He needs to drop down an infestation pit as soon as the lair finishes, save up his minerals so that he was able to make all that. And now the big push coming in, he needs to stop and deny this gold anymore from being any more mined out. It's probably about halfway through. I'm not sure why Strife is waiting just for these last few rallying roaches, I suppose. And here comes the big push. Force fields go down, not as many nearly as before because there's so fewer sentries. They don't have the charged up energy. The roaches trying to squeeze through. The queen's getting in on the action. The huge swarm of the Zerg, even drones getting pulled. But almost a pure stalker with one immortal army, a few zealots coming in to help. Just so many roaches. These drones even can go back, but they're still absorbing good hits. Transfuse is going in, and the gold is going to hold for StrifeCro. And his lair has finished. He probably should get down an infestation pit if he hasn't already. I don't see it anywhere here on the map, and that would be absolutely crucial if he could get some good fungals out, even just infested Terrans. We do have Glial, and we do have the +2 missile on the way, but he's just got so much gas. He's in, 1100. He's mineral dumping so hard. We still do have 40 roaches on the field, only 17 stalkers. More and more zealots being warped in. Sentries charging up energy. Here's one with a full 200. That is a solid 4 force fields ready to go down. The income tab actually shows our Protoss player really pulling ahead with 54 to 45. And here's the battle engages. Great force fields going down. Fantastic, perfectly placed force fields, stopping the entirety of all these roaches from being able to attack. StrifeCro, if he could really swing some around, bring groups up from the south end after the force fields have gone down, and even more, at least one helping to split up that army. This Immortal, a beast at 31 kills. Now he's just going to try to overpower his opponent with the sheer number of roaches that he has, producing more and more, and even Burrow being researched. Thinking a little bit ahead, the Immortal finally falls, not so immortal anymore. 7 zealots warping in. But the roaches may just overpower everything here. There are so many of them. That is a gaggle of roaches if I've ever seen one. The +2 attack is getting ready to finish, and Gatored is on the back foot. And while the gold is getting closer to being mined out right now for StrifeCro, thing to note is that he's pushing very, very heavily into the natural of Gatored. He still has, StrifeCro even still has his own main and natural to fall back to. So many roaches pushing through here. This is probably going to be the end, the GG from Gatored. Just could not stop the absolute onslaught of the pure macroing Zerg with the early high yield. There it is, GG, well played. This is going to finish game 1 of the best of 3 series between Gosu Gatored and EG StrifeCro. Fantastic early play to try to offset the loss of the natural here, and this quickly paid for itself by just having the absolute sheer numbers, the staggering, overwhelming force to topple, push through, and destroy the Protoss opponent. I'm going to be going right into game 2, and I hope you are as well. I'll see you there.